Hey, my name's Eric Akre, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about sticks, thrones, bass drum, snare drum, and the cymbals. I'm going to show you some stuff on the whole drum kit later with the cymbals, but right now I want to talk to you about sticks. Sticks. There are many different styles of sticks out there that cater to many different styles of music. You can choose from either hickory, oak, or maple. Maple tends to be a softer, lighter wood. It feels good. Jazz players like to use them. Oak is a strong wood. Rock drummers like to use them. Good for volume. Hickory sticks are great, versatile all around. They work for just about any kind of music. One thing I will mention about hickory that's really nice is it tends to flex and it tends to give a little bit. So if you're a really heavy hitter, you might want to try hickory. Oak is good, but it tends to be a little bit brittle, so just be warned. The next thing I want to talk about is drum thrones. Pick one that's strong, sturdy, it's not going to break down on you. You don't want to fall down behind your drum kit as you're playing a gig. You want something that's probably got double braced legs, and I suggest one that spirals up. Some people like to have the motorcycle seat style. Some people like to have something that's round. It's really a player's choice. Bass drums. Bass drums come in many different sizes. Sometimes they depend on the style of music that you're playing. Like say a jazz drummer might prefer to have a 16, 18, or a 20-inch bass drum. And then rock drummers may prefer to have a 22, 24, 26, and maybe even bigger. Don't be afraid to try a bunch of different stuff out. Tuning a bass drum could vary from having a pillow in it or not having a pillow in it. That'll change the dynamics and the overall sound of the drum. The other thing too about bass drums that you should know is make sure you got some really solid spurs on the bass drum so it doesn't scoot away from you. I've had to tie my bass drum to my drum seat to keep it from basically scooting away from me. So it's really important to make sure your spurs are strong and they're going to keep the bass drum in place. If you're in a pinch, sometimes a cinder block in front of your bass drum will work, or if they'll let you, you can pound a 2x4 with a nail in front of your bass drum on the stage and it'll stop it from moving. There's also drum rugs out there that have that sort of stopper right in front of the rug that'll keep your bass drum from scooting along too. That's a good idea too. Snare drums. Snare drums come in many different sizes. This one here is my favorite. It's my Stuart Copeland signature model made by Tama. It's a 5.5 by 14 bell brass snare drum chrome plated. It has a die-cast rim on top with a flanged hoop on the bottom. I think what they did here was they really tried to bring out the attack on the top head, but the adjustability that the flanged hoops gives you on the bottom head. Snare drums are called snare drums because of the snare wires in the bottom. This is what gives it that crisp sound. And they're tuned differently than most drums. You have to tune this bottom head differently than you would tune a bottom head on a tom-tom. The bottom head on a snare drum is very thin, almost paper thin. It's really meant to capture that crisp, sharp attack that the snares will give you when you hit. Okay, I'm going to show you some cymbal stuff next. Cymbals can be used to accent, to create a feel, to color, and create texture within the song or within a musical phrase. And ultimately, you want to use your cymbals in a musical way. I like to think that the ride cymbal creates a real open sound, a real loose sound, like being, like you're set free and you can move about and the space is wide. So let me show you a little bit about going from, say, the ride cymbal to the hi-hat or from the hi-hat to the ride. And then I'm going to throw a few crashes in. Crashes can be used to punctuate different parts of the drum beat, and you can also find multiple ways to use effect cymbals like chinas, splashes, and a whole bunch of stuff that's out there. So here's a few things.